Investigations are underway across this country after 13 mass shootings took place over the weekend. And a shootout on a busy street in Philadelphia, that's your hometown, Anne-Marie, has the DA calling for stricter gun regulations. And as we see more and more mass shootings here in the United States, a new CBS poll shows the majority of Americans support stricter gun laws. Jericka Duncan is in Philadelphia with a new call for gun reform there.
3 people died here, 12 were injured in a mass shooting here in Philadelphia, and it happened on Saturday along a very busy South Street, familiar to a lot of residents here, a lot of businesses here, but hundreds were gathered at that time. Police believe there were multiple shooters involved, and they also say it appears it all started with an altercation that clearly escalated. Surveillance video shows the moment the shooting unfolded. People running for their lives as gunfire sprayed into the crowd.
I woke up thinking, I got to see what happened there.
Maureen Long says she heard the gunshots from her apartment.
After Buffalo, Uvalde, here, right here, we have to do something.
It's a sentiment echoed by the city's district attorney, Larry Krasner.
We have 120 guns for every 100 human beings. That's ridiculous. This is supposed to be a country of human beings, not a country of guns.
211 homicides so far this year, 743 non-fatal shooting victims. What is the city to do?
The city is to change. I mean, that's the bottom line.
The latest CDC data reveals a nearly 35% increase in firearm deaths nationwide from 2019 to 2020, with guns accounting for 79% of all homicides in the U.S. The country also recorded its most annual gun deaths ever, more than 45,000.
Now, into 2022, we're seeing increases in many forms of violence. And of course, we've seen some increases in mass shootings as well.
Daniel Webster leads the Center for Gun Violence Solutions at Johns Hopkins University. He said gun violence has continued to rise in the last 2 years and pointed to reforms with wide public support like tighter licensing laws and comprehensive background checks as evidence-based solutions.
The problem is the disconnect between what the public say they want and support and what policymakers actually act upon.
And experts we spoke to say that gun violence in this country is likely to tick up in the summer as it typically does. Larry Krasner, the district attorney here, tells me that just 28% of fatal shootings are solved, making the point, he says, that people who commit these crimes know they are more likely to get away with murder. Jericka Duncan, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, CBS News Philly's DiMattei is covering the story for us. He is at the shooting scene on South Street in Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us this morning. I want to point out to people who are unfamiliar with the area, particularly on a Saturday night, not only is it crowded, but there are a ton of police officers there. That was not enough to discourage these people from acting in this way. Do we know anything about the suspects and anything about the victims?
We do. And Anne-Marie, you're absolutely right. Police told us that they had their regular patrols here on site on South Street, but like you said, it just wasn't enough. Let's start with the suspects. There's still a lot of unanswered questions this morning. Now, a day and a half after that shooting, police tell us they are still searching for 3 suspected shooters. One of the original members of the original altercation that led up to this shooting was actually killed in that shootout, so he is not going to be of much assistance to police as they try to track down those other 3 shooters. Police also tell us that they found 2 handguns here at the scene. One of them had an extended magazine, but based on their evidence here that they gathered at the scene, they believe that a total of 5 guns were used to commit this shooting. So thus why they are still searching for more shooters, I should say. Now, there are a lot of businesses in this area and thus a lot of surveillance cameras. So police tell us that they are combing through all of that surveillance footage. There is a lot of it to go through, but they believe that will be their best chance of catching these other 3 suspected gunmen who are still at large as of this morning. Let's talk about the victims now in this case. 2 other people died, a 27-year-old woman and a 22-year-old man, on top of the 34-year-old man who was, again, part of that original altercation that led to this shooting. We know that 27-year-old woman worked at one of the local colleges here in the city, and 12 other people were also injured as a result of this shooting. And police say most of them were under the age of 23, and most of them had absolutely nothing to do with that original altercation. They were just caught in the crossfire. Many of them were shot in an extremity, may it be the leg or an arm, and were taken to the hospital, but are expected to survive. And one of the 15 total victims was not shot. They were actually hit by some shattered glass. So a lot of people were injured, caught in the crossfire. Like I said, the majority of them had nothing to do with this original fight that escalated and turned into a shootout.
And that is, Ross, what is most frightening, which is that these are innocent bystanders. They're enjoying a beautiful weekend night in a very sort of touristy, crowded area of Philadelphia, where I would be if I was visiting
place to
Philly.
hang out. It's bars and restaurants, and that's where you go on a
That's
Saturday.
where you go, right? So Ross, you also spoke to neighbors and politicians there in Philadelphia about getting gun violence under control. I mean, a lot of people will watch this, and Marie, as you know, Ross, you know this as well, and say, well, look, in certain states and cities where they have very strict gun measures, you could still get this level of violence. Right? There's a lot of reasons for that, but what do the people say they want to see happen going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I was one of the first reporters here on the scene reporting on this, and I spoke with a lot of neighbors. And as you know, Philadelphia is a largely Democratic city, but many of them first turned to gun control. I mean, gun violence has been a huge issue in this city for years now, and it has continued to escalate. I mean, this is one of the worst shootings we've seen in recent memory. So a lot of them turned to a lot of the common national talking points that we've heard, especially lately after Uvalde, after Buffalo, saying, you know, we need smaller magazines, limits on magazines. Like I mentioned, one of the 2 handguns that was recovered here did have an extended magazine. That kind of gun would have been banned in 10 other states, but not here in Pennsylvania. So a lot of them wanted more gun control, maybe making the required age to purchase a firearm extended from 18 to 21. We've seen other cities implement those kind of tactics. And I also spoke with the city council member who represents this area, and he told me that basically, he thinks that common sense gun reform can help with this problem, but he thinks that there is a lot more to it than that. He says that the police department here in Philadelphia has really struggled to recruit more officers in recent years, especially during the pandemic. So he wants to incentivize more people to join the department and join the force so that they can bolster some of the patrols in areas like South Street, where so many people have been known to gather. And in the meantime, he's also calling for politicians, our city's leaders, to come together. He says too much finger pointing has been going on, and they need to work together on some simple solutions. But in the meantime, he is now calling for a curfew, specifically here on South Street. Didn't give us a specific time, but he believes that until the city can properly protect the businesses, the patrons, a lot of the visitors, tourists that come to South Street to enjoy this area, until we can protect them, he believes that nobody should be allowed late at night, at least for the immediate time being. And he knows that that could upset a lot of the business owners in this area, at least temporarily. But he believes long term they would be on board if it meant making South Street safer.
Yeah, that's a tough one. These are late night businesses. That's where they make their bread and butter. Ross DiMattei, thank you very much.